Sunday NFL playoffs are going to kick off with an absolute boom. Bills, Jaguars, 1 o'clock CBS. This, to me, is going to be an insane game. I'm willing to say that I think whoever wins this football game is your AFC representative for the Super Bowl. I think whoever wins this game is the one that goes all the way for the AFC. Do they win? That's a different story, but I think that's your team. Everbank Stadium, Jacksonville, Florida. The Buffalo Bills, obviously, the biggest narrative. Everybody's saying, well, there's no Lamar Jackson. There's no Joe Burrow. There's no Patrick Mahomes. Hey, Josh Allen, if you're going to win a Super Bowl, it's got to be now. If it's not now, then when is it? I hate that narrative because, come on, how many times are we going to say that quarterback wins or wins aren't a quarterback stat? But then we want to do this narrative. Like, this is I'm pretty sure there's 11 players on each side of the football. I understand quarterback's important, but I don't like that narrative. I'm not going to lie to you. But I understand where it's coming from. I completely get it. It's a weird thing that we don't have Mahomes, we don't have Lamar, we don't have Burrow in the playoffs. On the flip side, Trevor Lawrence looks great. This Jacksonville offense, this Jacksonville team, what they've done, trading up to get Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter gets hurt. The Lamborghini's in the garage, and they're still finding a way to win the AFC South, go 13-4, and host the playoff game. There's a lot of history here. And I know that you are very good in your history. I know this, right? I know you're a youngster of NFL history. You know this, but let me just remind you here. The first ever playoff game for the Jacksonville Jaguars was in Buffalo. It was the final game for Jim Kelly. The Jaguars beat the Buffalo Bills. It was Jim Kelly's final game in Wild Card Weekend, 1996. It was the first one for the Jaguars, the final one for arguably the greatest Bills quarterback other than Josh Allen. History right off the bat. Then the Jaguars played in the playoffs again against the Bills in 2017. The first playoff game after the playoff drought for the Bills. The Jaguars won again. The Jaguars are 2-0 against the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. Oh, and here's another crazy stat. You might think about all these crazy, wild 4 straight Super Bowls for the Bills back in the 90s. The Buffalo Bills are 0-8 on the road in playoff history. 0-8 on the road in the playoffs. Since 1993, not history. Insane stuff. 0-8. This is a wild game here. The Bills Jaguars. Who wins this one in your mind?
That's a good thing it's a good thing you pointed that out, because I was genuinely about to say, this is crazy. I feel like the Bills play better on the road. I feel like everything that I've seen over the last few years, it's the Bills are at home and they're unable to capitalize late. And maybe that's just me being, simple-minded, which I don't necessarily hate either. There's something beautiful about not really having to pay attention to everything that's going on. But I think my initial thought process was literally, oh, they're on the road, give me the Bills. But just to kind of reiterate what you were saying, this is going to be one of the best games of the weekend. So it's hard to really pick a team. The spread is literally 1.5. So it's going to come down to basically who has the ball last. What's the game plan in the fourth quarter, I think, is going to be very, very important here. Who can capitalize, make the big plays. And the Jags have shocked everybody. I think they've stepped up to the plate in a big way. So I guess I'll lean them here just literally because of the stat you threw out. But I think it's going to be very, very close. And I think somehow Josh Allen he cannot escape the 13-second finish, we have to get a touchdown in 60 seconds here, 67, 68 seconds, whatever it is, just over a minute. You got 2 timeouts. It throws a deep bomb, Stephon Diggs right through the hands. It feels like he's always so close to getting these wins. And I don't know if that streak continues here, but I guess I'm curious if, obviously on the road, Josh Allen can't get it done. It comes down to a last-second drive once again. Are there question marks in Buffalo? It feels like this is just the story over and over and over.
Question marks, yes. Question marks towards Josh Allen? No. I think the question marks towards the weapons of Josh Allen, yes, because the biggest question is, what kind of receivers does he have? What's his receivers in there? Yes, his tight ends are great. His running back's fantastic. His offensive line's fantastic, but what's his receivers? And if it comes down to that, needs a big play and his receivers can't step up, then yeah, I think there's a big question mark heading into this one. This one wouldn't shock me if the Bills lost this game, that maybe they decided to move on from Sean McDermott. They just say, look, we have a guy in Josh Allen who won the MVP last year. We can't get over the hump. Can't get past the AFC Championship with the Chiefs around. Now we can't even get out of Wild Card Weekend against the Jaguars. Again, that rivalry's strong. It's one of those weird histories that if you're a Bills fan, you know about playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's not even just in the playoffs either. There's been some blowouts in the Mark Brunell, Doug Flutie years where the Jaguars have just had the Bills number. It's one of those weird series between these two. Now, there have been some lately where the Bills have just completely blown the brakes off the Jaguars, but this is a different game. The Jaguars look completely different here. You speak about home and away. The Jaguars, while at home, they're 7-2 at home this year. No other team in the NFL has a higher point differential than the Jacksonville Jaguars while being at home. They have turned Everbank Stadium into maybe the hardest place to play in the NFL. It's absolutely insane. Everything is pointing towards the direction to say Jacksonville should win this game, but I'm going to ask you one question right here. What would you rather have? Would you rather have the best running game in the NFL, or would you rather have the best run-stopping defense in the NFL?
If I had to pick between the two,
yeah.
For my team, I think I'd probably go best running game.
If that's the case, then you think the Buffalo Bills are going to win this football game.
Wow.
That's what we're getting. We're getting the best running game in the NFL. James Cook is the rushing leader. They're the best running team in the NFL. The Jacksonville Jaguars are the best run-stopping defense in the NFL. We're getting the best running game against the best running defense on Wild Card Weekend in Everbank Stadium. The best point differential at home with a lot on the line with between the Bills, what's going to happen with their coaching staff, maybe even GM, maybe even front office if they can't get the job done. And then on the flip side, the Jaguars are they're seen as an underdog, a 1.5-point underdog after winning the AFC South at home. I mean, all the ammo is just pointing at saying the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win this game. That's why I'm going to go a little Chris Berman here and say no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Give me the Bills to win this game wildcard weekend. I just don't think they lose on wildcard weekend. There's just too much stakes at hand for the coaching staff, for Josh Allen. And I think the Bills sneak one out here. But it's going to be, I think this one's going to be insane.
It's really hard for me to pick the Jags. Like, just to be clear, it feels like the Bills should win this game. And I don't know if it's because they're on the road. Like, my mind is they don't have the quote unquote pressure of being at home. Like, you're supposed to win at home. Like, you can go on the road, and I know they're favorites, but you can be a dog. Like, on the road, you're in a hostile environment. Nobody expects you to win. Like, Jags are having this phenomenal season. You can kind of have that like unseen kind of a feel to the team a little bit. And you're exactly right. The stakes are as big as they've ever been for Buffalo, I feel like. And you mentioned like who else isn't in the playoffs, and you don't want to talk about like the quarterbacks, but just as teams as a whole, I feel like this is a relatively, at least new, but if not wide open playoff field. Buffalo absolutely should be in the AFC Championship game, in my opinion. So I want to take the Bills. Like, I really do. That's why I said when we started this, I was shocked to hear that stat about the Bills on the road, because that was one of the main kind of pillars that I was leaning on. And one of the reasons I want to take the Bills, but something is telling me that like it's just not going to happen. I don't know what it is. It's a total vibes thing. And like I've said a couple times now, I don't know where my vibes-o-meter is at. I haven't run the tune-ups on it recently, but I'm feeling the Jags here. And I think it really comes down to like a field goal to end it. Like, it's going to be, can Jacksonville get into range with the ball, with enough time to get the unit out there? I expect an absolute barn burner here. I don't know if it'll be, 42-45 or if it'll be 10-13, but I do think it's going to be really close. And I honestly think it's going to be the Bills have an opportunity to tie it. They leave too much time out there, and the Jags go down and get just enough into field goal range to win this game, which I don't know if I love that, but that's my guess.
Yeah, ESPN analytics have this as a definition as a coin flip. Jacksonville's 51.5 compared to 48.5 for the Buffalo Bills. You mentioned field goal range. I mean, that could be 85 yards for Cam Lewis. I mean, you're right. It could come down to a last second thing, and Jaguars could be at midfield and they could kick a game winning field goal. That's how good they probably have the best kicker in football right now